So I hope everyone is feeling as inspired as I have been by meeting all of our speakers over these last couple weeks, because there's a lot of work that goes into making an event like this possible. Of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Summit Education. Everything that we're sharing here today is going to be shared on their platforms for the students, the hospitality students that are enrolled in their schools, also for alumni. I must also thank the Inspire Hospitality team. Johnny and Carol, many of you know them. They have been my right hand to make this event absolutely possible, and you've been working very hard for that. Thank you both. We really could not do this type of inspirational event without their unconditional support. So thank you to Johnny and to Carol. I also need to thank our sponsors, because we, as you might know, Inspire Hospitality is a startup. We are a small business, and every bit of sponsorship that we receive, we're very grateful for that, and we want to thank our sponsors, specifically Julius Meinl. You have been part of our story at Inspire Hospitality since the beginning, for our first Inspire Hospitality Forum, and ever since have been a partner for us in all that we do, and I cannot thank you enough for that support and constant support. Thank you for a great product and for being great sponsors. And I cannot begin to explain how inspired I am by the alumni of La Roche. The last time we had an event, we were at the Kempinski, and we had a young lady in the audience who shared with us her entrepreneurship story. She was on maternity leave. And had the idea to create an app called Go-To-Bar, which would bring the customer of cocktails to the bars. So the bars would feature their products, and by scanning that app, by being a part of their group, you're getting introduced for the first time in a lot of the second and third tier cities about cocktails, about the bar culture, and they have sponsored today's cocktail hour. They've made this is glass bottle, not plastic. This is glass cocktails, and they made this for us to say the time is now. And please scan their app to get your complimentary cocktail and to learn more about what they're doing. They're also a husband and wife team, and for me as an entrepreneur, I cannot begin to stress how impressed I am by this effort that they've made as a couple, but also as someone who was not working because of maternity leave, but still thinking and still innovating, and I'm so proud of them for that. So please enjoy the cocktail with them as well. Now we're going to talk about the reality of sustainability, right? We kind of talked about the big picture of the buildings of a hotel, the building structure, the design, also the brand initiatives from the corporate office, but then as we talked about already, the actual operation, the day-to-day, how do we make it work? And I have been so inspired by these innovators, these entrepreneurs that I'm soon going to introduce you to, because they are really helping to answer 4 key questions. In the hotel, what do we do about food waste? In the hotel, what do we do about water filtration, and all those plastic bottles that our brand standards tell us we should have in the room? What do we do in a hotel for recycling those plastic bottles? And what can we do with those plastic bottles to create textiles that we can use in the hotel that are durable and look good? And last but not least, what can we do in the hotel about those small little amenity bottles that we are all so used to? And what are some of the solutions that brands are doing right now to fix that, to give an alternative? Please join me in welcoming our next group of panelists. We have Ms. Jane Go. She is the co-founder of PET, which is Plastic Ecological Transformation. Welcome, Jane. I'd like to welcome Ms. Caroline Sheng, the Vice President of Sales for Asia for Hunter Amenities. I'd like to welcome Mr. Justin Cluis. He's the head of Greater China for LeanPath. And last but not least, our dear friend, Mr. David Wong. He is the co-founder of Greenwave. Welcome. all of your microphones should be on. Now, maybe perhaps for some of you and for some of the companies we mentioned, this might be the first time that you hear about them and what they're doing. So I'd like to give a chance for each of the panelists to introduce their business and what they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to start with Jane because, yes, can you please get your bottles? But Jane is also the reason why we're hosting this event. Jane is a friend of mine for some time now. And I'll let you tell your story, but she's someone who's so passionate about sustainability. And she says, Elizabeth, can we do an event about sustainability? And I said, okay, let me think about it. How can we do it? And we're all here today because of her. And thank you for that.
Thank you. So I'm really honored to have so many people in the audience. My name is Jane. I'm the co-founder of PET. What we do is to transform these bottles, the bottles, the water bottles that you have in your hotel rooms, we transform them into bottle flakes, which you can have I'll pass it around so you can have a closer look.
So this is the bottle flake, right? So this is what happens when you cut up the plastic bottle.
Right.
Okay.
They're sent to the recycling factory, they're washed, they're sanitized and cut up into these flakes. After that, they are melted down into these polymers. We'll call them plastic pellets. And once it's in this form, it is the same chemical compound as the polyester pellets that is taken up from crude oil. And after that, after the pellet stage, we melt them down and pull them into yarn that looks like this, that is made into clothes. Yeah.
Very interesting, isn't it?
So I'll let you take a while to digest that. It is a long process. This technology has been very commonly used in fashion for like 20, 30 years, Nike, Adidas. It's very good for sportswear, but for the hospitality industry, I feel it has not been properly used yet. And therefore, that's why our company decided to use this technology to help hotels recycle their own plastic and to make it into their own hospitality linens, be it your tablecloths, your bedding, or whatever.
So you come from the hotels, Jane.
Exactly.
Tell them the full story.
So I used to head up marketing at Hilton, Greater China. And at that time, we were opening hotels, I think at 80 hotels a year or something. You guys know the deal. It was very stressful because we realized that these hotels, as Vicky said earlier, are going to be here for at least 50 years, if not 100 years. However, the way that they were being built were not fully considered designed with a modern technology and sustainability in mind. It's not because they didn't want to, because they were looking for lots of solutions and suppliers, but there just weren't any suppliers in the market that could fulfill that scale, that professional level at that time. And therefore, I decided that it was important that I come out to do this myself. Yeah.
Another entrepreneur.
Yes.
Another entrepreneur, innovator who saw a problem in our industry and has come up with a solution.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Caroline.
I'm Caroline Shen. I'm working for Hunter Manatee. I'm looking after all the sales for Asia market. So Hunter Manatee is a Canadian company established in 1981 from John Hunter. So over the last 40 years, we partner with all those international recognized luxury retail brands owner, so that we can create a large portfolio of products, including skincare, spa category, hair care, and also the fragrance. So all those products actually, so we're creating and also trying to deliver to our guests, hotel guests, to give you a ultimate guest experience. Wanted to say that, with this trend from China, sustainability, it's actually made us super exciting because we finally can replace all those small bottles to the large format and also those dry accessories as well. But on the top of that, also I want to say that prior to Hunter Manatee, I was working for Ecolab. It's an American company for 20 years. So we supply all those chemical hygiene program to the hotels. And we talk about how to helping the hotels reduce the water consumption, how to improve operational efficiency, but lots of challenges and the hurdles. So right now with Hunter, I think at least I can give you a number, 40% saving on the plastic consumption if you're using the large format.
Oh, okay, we're going to talk about that because we just heard a brand that is trying to go that way, and we'd like to know more about that experience. Mr. Justin.
Thank you. My name is Justin. I head up the Greater China program for our company LeanPath. What we do is we provide big data metrics and reports and analysis and consultative services to hotels, staff canteens, and large food and beverage operations. What we do is not sexy, but what we do is very necessary for this world. We measure trash, right? So we measure trash. We help to categorize this trash. 垃圾分类，出动光盘行动. It's 政治正确 right now, right? And we provide reports daily, weekly, monthly, YTD, week to day, etc., for operations on the ground, so that they can be empowered by this data and be coached by our team in how to best use the food that they are producing to reduce that food waste, but also our value proposition is how we can reduce your food costs. Typically, we reduce our clients' food costs between 7 to 9%, and we help them reduce their food waste by 50 to 70%. So this is, you might think that throwing away that carrot peel or that little bit of croissant or that little bit of extra chicken curry is a little thing, but I think it's called 积少成多. Yeah. So it's an economy of scale, and it becomes something extremely significant from a cost perspective, from an environmental perspective, and from a carbon footprint perspective. What gets measured gets managed, right? And we measure that, so we help you manage it.
Oh, they do it in a big way, with photos and everything. So we're gonna,
if you're interested, you can come back.
Yeah, come back and see those photos, because you'll be surprised like how much rubbish and food, just food waste. We're not even talking about the stuff that comes out of the guest room, the food waste that goes into the garbage. Thank you. And our innovator entrepreneur, Mr. David Wong.
Thank you. I'm David Wong, the co-founder and GM for Greenwashing China. We are mainly doing water filtration services for families, offices, filtering centers, restaurants, and hotels. So we are honored to have the JLL office as one of the users as well. If any of you drinking water before the session, hope you like it. And the water quality is indeed very high. As good as bottled water, even better than that. 10 years ago, after my graduation, I just learned in Shanghai, a lot of people have complaints over the skin and hair issues caused by water. I guess that's something even happening today. A lot of, for the market, they don't have a lot of trustworthy drinking water sources except the bottled water. At the early days, I even heard some families bathing their babies in the bottled water. Huge amount of waste and also a huge amount of distrust. So from that time on, we want to do something to help. We solve the problems of dry hair and the skin. We provide drinking water solutions for them. And 10 years later, we are operating in Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou. We serve clients in over 40 cities of China. And over the past 10 years, it's also a process of learning. We know what we do is not just about a business. We reduce a lot of plastic use every day. As long as clients are using our services, no need to use bottled water further. We also, within the process, we dealt with some hotels. We know hotel has hotel rooms, restaurants, gyms, and even swimming pool where drinking water will be used. So we have very existing solutions for all of these locations. So with the change made by companies like us, it's going to be saving a lot of cost for hotels, and also the logistical costs will be reduced a lot. And besides, it's definitely much better for the environment because a lot of waste will be saved.
And so when I had a chance to meet each of our speakers, it just blows my mind that we have all these solutions already happening, but they're very far and few in between the hotels. So I want to hear from each of you kind of what has been the biggest challenge to get into the hotel. And I want to start with Caroline because you probably have the most immediate impact with those small, with Shanghai saying no more plastics. We heard about Accor talking about no plastics in the guest-facing areas. Tell me about the challenges that you've had with that process, and what would you say would make it easier?
Sure. I would say two challenges. Number one, actually, just reflects, Jillian's program, Zero Plastic program. So we all understand that we don't want to use more plastics. We want to reduce the waste. But also on the other side, we also need to be realistic and practical. So if we're using the recycled plastic, PCR, PET, so this is still, we're doing a great thing to the sustainability. So talking about this Accor program, we supply all the Lalabo products, to Fairmont Hotel and also to Park Hyatt hotels. So Lalabo, if you know, they're a very strong brand owner. I am Lalabo. I don't want to change my color. This is my color of the bottle. This is my label image. If you want to put me outside of a ceramic, bottle, this is not Lalabo. This is not luxury. So on the one side, we have Accor, the Zero Plastic program. We want a ceramic program. On the other side, we have a brand owner, very strong requirement. So we are just kind of in between. So this I want to show you. So this is already a large bottle, PET. So you know PET.
What is PET? Can you just do a definition for us?
So PET is a part of the polymer. It is a recycled material. So you can use this. So as long as we are not using virgin plastic, new plastic, you're always using the certain pool of the plastic that this is the recycle, and this is also, you don't use more, raw materials. Then also, so when we do PCR, the different, so many polymers, PCR, PET, PP, PVC, all different types. PLA also a type of plastic. But in order to use a PLA, this is very low melting point. So if you deliver the products, in China, for southern China, transportation, degrees easily goes to 40, 50 degrees. So you have this risk, for the plastic actually melting, breaking down. Then also the process leakage. So this is the risk. Well, but of course, Accor fixed that problem. But then also for Lalabo, I just want to look like this. So this is really the challenge. So it's all about how we educate, how we really, meet the needs of the hotels. Like Marriott, like Hyatt, like IHG, they are fine with this bottle as long as recycled material. So this is the top one challenge.
It's a difference. It's a difference in brands.
The understanding of the raw material, how to prevent using single units, of the plastic, using the recycle, that's fine. Then also another one is the dry accessory. So if you stay at a hotel, apart from all those liquids, you also see the dental kit, the hairbrush, comb. So at the moment, everything is plastic. So we actually did lots of research and investment. So we come up with a packaging. So the outside of packaging can be stone paper, can be paper box, can be non-woven. But then also inside the content, such as the toothbrush or comb, it can be the bamboo material or the corn starch. So this is all trying to help our society, to reduce the use of the plastic. So this is the thing what we're doing, but cost.
Oh, we'll talk about costs. We're going to talk about costs.
Okay. So I keep it for later. So this is really the two challenges we are facing at the moment.
Yeah, because we're going to come back to that. And I think we all have a conversation about cost, right? And kind of making that argument. And we talked about earlier as well. How do you get owners to want to invest in this kind of third-party consultancy? Justin, what about you? What's the biggest challenge that you face trying to just get your services and the impact into the hotels?
I think I'll break it into three parts. Thank you for your patience. So one part is the disconnect between corporate, and the individual sites. So Accor might have a Planet 21 initiative, Marriott might have a Serve 360 initiative, and these are all typically very lofty, very ambitious goals, but the main issue is there is very little in terms of actionable feedback that is given to each of these individual sites. So if we think about things like groupthink, which is when there's a huge group of people, each and every one of these people actually don't feel responsible for the total goal, which might be sustainability, which might be being net zero carbon, which might be reducing our food waste by 50%. And so I think one is the disconnect between corporate and between the site level. So when I speak to a site about how are we going to reduce food waste, I would like to be a part of your CSR initiative. I would like to help you reduce your cost or reduce your carbon footprint. They say, well, we have this initiative, maybe you should look to another site first, because I don't want to rock the boat, right? So this is from a top-down perspective. From a bottom-up perspective, I'm just going to put it out there, I'm half Chinese, and when somebody asks me to do something, and I'm in the bottom rung of an F&B operation, I will ask, 对我有什么好? Like, what's good for me, right? How is reducing the amount of waste that my boss is paying for in this buffet going to do anything good for me? So we work with companies like Google, whom is one of our clients, as well as a lot of other consulting companies, to gamify our product, to turn it into a product that not only is one that is necessary to be used, but one that is rewarding to be used. So randomly, when our users use the product, when our users use our tablet, when they're throwing away items, you can have a goal pop up, or you can have a reward pop up. You just got a free cup of coffee, or you just got 30 minutes off. Tell your boss, and this will register within the system. So it's important to have buy-in from the top down and the bottom up. From a third perspective, what's been the most challenging? I wouldn't just speak about hospitality, right? Because if we're speaking about plastics, if we're speaking about water, if we're speaking about these kind of hot topics in sustainability, it's much easier to speak to somebody about it because it's already fresh in their head, right? Only recently has 光盘行动, or food waste, been something that's been really interesting or necessary or 政治正确 for a lot of us here, especially in Greater China.
Well, Xi Jinping also has made an
Yes,
initiative.
yes, he has, and thank you if you're listening. Thank you. But at the same time, it's very hard to create a sense of urgency for something that no one feels themselves responsible for. So I think it's not just a matter of a corporate disconnect or a general awareness or ability or want to use our product, but also just a sense of urgency or an understanding of what food waste means. For instance, one of our clients, Huaren Wanja Olay, in eastern China, last year alone threw away 1.6个亿 worth of 生鲜产品. So it's like lettuce and blueberries and all this kind of stuff that really has an expiration date but has not gone bad. I'm just going to throw it away. I'm not going to repurpose
But that's the
it or
point,
donate
right?
it.
It's
Yeah.
like the whole expiration product. There's so many of these kind of like standards that we've put in place to do business that,
Right.
that really affect the overall bit. Jane, what about you? Because you're talking about making textiles for the hotel. I think that's fantastic. You have some examples here today as well of uniforms that you're making and table linens. Why has it been so hard to get into the hotels?
I think for recycled products, one of the main hurdles is consumer understanding of whether or not it's clean, whether it's sanitary. People always ask me, Jane, is this thing more expensive or cheaper? It should be, it's from trash, it should be cheaper, right? No, it's actually a lot more expensive. So the raw material is 2 to 3 times more expensive because it just takes so much effort to make sure that what you have in your hand is clean. And the technical specifications are as good or even better than the virgin products, right? So it's a lot of public education that needs, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, it takes time, and I think also having that interface with the purchasing team, you know, the people that, not just the purchasing team, but the operators, right? The operators, to get them to see your product and to understand it. David, what has been the biggest challenge for you? Because everyone's talking about the bottled water, and we can't seem to come up with a solution for the bottled water. What's been the biggest challenge?
over the past 10 years, so we dealt with some hotels such as Hilton, Westin, Carey, East Hotel, Opposite House, or Marriott, as well as Ascot. I feel these hotels are very different. Some are very pursuing sustainable practices, some are not. And for these hotels preferring sustainability, I think the challenge is from the internal side. So take Ascot, for example. Last March, we implemented the drinking water solution for their hotel rooms. But it's the general manager's decision. But when we trying to carry it on, I feel there always some problems. From some like a barrier from either the customer service department or the engineering department.
What do you mean? What do you mean a challenge? So is it the installation part, or is it the understand? Because essentially, what you are doing, you're installing filters.
Exactly.
You're doing a water filtration system that is reverse osmosis.
So when we try to install the systems, because we need to work together with the service department, also get the support from engineering department. There always is, some problems. You can't do this, I can't do that. So it's not that active, from what I understand. So the manager, general managers, are very active in doing something positive. However, for the internal things, the better not to do anything to make them
they don't want to have to do
trouble.
extra, right, mafan.
Yeah.
They don't want the mafan, the
Yeah.
extra trouble,
Yeah.
the change to the routine. What specific support would you need from the engineering team? What do you need? You need access to the water pipes. What do you need?
Definitely, we will need to get access to pipes. Sometimes we need to get electricity for making the system work. But the initial settings might be not that fully ready. So we need some support from the engineering department to provide that. However, from a feasibility point of view, we think it's going to be feasible. However, it just take a long time for them to say okay
The
to do
mindset
that.
shift.
Yeah, and also for these hotels we approach, which have no such type of preference, I feel the challenge will be how to convince them. It's going to be with a lot of values aiding toward such kind of practice, and also it's going to be benefiting them in the long run.
So I just want to make it clear for the audience. So what David is doing as well is he wants to be able to give hotel guests, offices, and homes the ability to drink the water from the faucet. Should be easy, right? But we also have to train ourselves as consumers and have the trust of that system, right? And I think that's what you were hoping to do, is to build the trust with the customer.
Yes, absolutely. Because for now, everybody knows tap water is not that clean, so we don't need to talk. Oh, you can drink the tap water, and everybody thinks bottled water is kind of better. It's clean. It brings people the peaceful mind for drinking it. However, how about the purified drinking water running after the tape? It's something I think people need to adapt to. However, if you look at the inside, bottled water is just water stored in the bottles. It's through some filtration, just like the filtration system we are going to install for these users. So the water will be definitely as clean as bottled water, and also there's no middle bottling and transportation, as there's no any secondary pollution. So it's going to be a better choice from what we could tell.
But we're talking about customer awareness, education, and standards, and Justin, I just want to talk to you about that, because when we talk about food, and especially in luxury hotels, this idea of abundance, right? Luxury is abundance. So we have 5 meal periods in the club lounge and half of it gets thrown away. We have super duper brunch buffets and breakfast buffets and PDRs, right? The private dining rooms. What do we need to be doing to kind of, attack this issue from both sides, not just from your solution, but also from what the consumer expectation is?
I think luxury is exclusivity, is being unable to or harder to reach something. I think in certain brands, I would say Hyatt have it really down in terms of being able to communicate or convey an exquisite experience with food, while at the same time being able to reduce their food waste. So that a lot of their F&B concepts are what is called a la minute. So I see, I want, I order, they make, I get fresh, and it's a pre-portioned amount. If I order it, I can ask for less of this or more of that or more salt or less cheese or whatever, and then I have no plausible deniability. I don't have, like, I can't say 难吃扔掉. I ordered it, right? So I'm gonna eat it. Also, I think in terms of, I think buffets are something that are hard-grained into the Chinese consumers' minds because bounty or plentiful food is something like my grandparents did not experience. They were boiling their shoes or like their belts to eat. I'm serious. And so luxury to them in terms of food was an expression of an overabundance. But I think there needs to be a re-education or a realignment of society in understanding that luxury is 精致, is to be delicate, is to give you just enough of an amazing thing rather than too much of an okay thing.
Yeah. Jane, I'd like to know from you, you're an entrepreneur, what are the resources available? Maybe there's people here in the audience that might have some ideas about starting a business, or the students that will watch this filming today might have some ideas. What are some of the resources that are available to entrepreneurs to kind of go in this route to have innovative solutions for sustainability?
Actually, I will share this company called Impact Hub. So there are many innovation hubs and accelerators, whether or not you're a technology startup or a sustainability startup. So for us, for PET, we were incubated by Impact Hub, which is an international maybe not NGO, organization that focuses on helping social enterprises to start up, right? So connect to a network and a community like us, people who can help you to open doors, people who can help you to be your champions along the way. So for example, actually one of these champions or people who help me along the way are my clients. Right, they help us to R&D along the way. They help us to pull through all sorts of branding images. And this person, your mentor, for example, or your incubator, or whatever the term is, might not come from a traditional setting, because in sustainability there is no, how to say, like a ready-made platform or solution. For example, one of our biggest supporters is a CFO. CFO of a cruise ship company. He was the one who drove our entire product range, took all of our samples to do testing, put laoganma on top of it and send it to washing, sterilization. But it's the people like that in the organizations that might not have a sustainability title, that are able to help us through. So students or anybody who is trying to start up a business in the sustainable field, look for that one sponsor, that one mentor, or people like Impact Hub.
Caroline, we talked about costs. Let's come back to that question about costs, because we're trying to provide hotels and businesses solutions. What is Hunter Amenities doing to make this a cost-effective solution for hotels? Or are they in the process of developing something?
Well, if we talking about the liquids, like all those shampoo, conditioner, so very obvious you can see, the consumption, the revenue, the buying, the quantity you're using for the hotel is just dramatically saving. So for that
so
part,
expensive, and so not just your products, all products. But in general, those little bottles, they're expensive.
Yeah.
It's a huge cost to the hotel.
well, think about it, the small bottles, right? So we have to buy the raw material, and we have to bring and make the mold. Then also we just produce the batch of the products every day. And then so we put the liquids inside, then we deliver to the hotel. But the guests will not use all of them. So by one stay, and you just dispose all of those products. So bottles, this is really a tremendous waste. So if we change from a small bottle to the large bottle, then you don't need to just replace the products every day. This is really improve the operation efficiency. Room attendants love it. You don't need to go back and change. So liquids products is pretty much quite practical. Dry accessory like dental kits, shower cap is different thing. So we need to just tell them that we can always find an opportunity. For example, Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, the government were not just asking hotel to provide a free dry accessory. So what we're going to do actually, we partner with one hotel group. We come up with the packaging non-woven stone paper or customized sustainability program. Make it high quality, reflect that brand needs, so that hotel can sell to the guests. I buy, you give me a high quality products, I feel the luxury, I feel worthwhile. So by those practices, and we can actually see sometimes profitability and sustainability can go in hand. It's just how we manage that. But still, this is only step one.
Speaking to the choir here. This is the sustainability gurus here, but it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
And I want to take time to open up for questions because we've had lots of time to chat, but I want our participants today to ask the questions because they need to understand how can they take this back to their operation, what role we all play in making our industry more sustainable. Are any questions today? I will come to you. Oh, we have a question. I didn't do it.
I'm curious to ask Mr. Wang about COVID-19 and the Shanghai government adding all kinds of chlorine, I think, to the water. How do you deal with that from your side to make sure that the water is still yummy? Because if you open the tap at the moment, you smell the swimming pool, I guess, at the moment, or something like that.
Very good question. COVID-19.
Thank you, Professor. Actually, it's what do we do from the day one of our business? It's not just about COVID-19. Every time there are some reports about dead pigs floating on the Huangpu River, about norovirus happening in Beijing, or about COVID-19. There's always a lot more disinfectant used in the water to make sure that the water is fully disinfected. And the excess of chlorine, here's one thing special. China regulates water with a different standard compared to our Western counterparts. For example, U.S. has set the maximum content for the chlorine content in water, but in China we set a minimum. So whenever there's something happens, no matter how much chlorine is used, theoretically, it's always conforming to the standard. However, the excess chlorine will definitely hurt the hair and the skin. A lot of people have, hair loss issue, dry skin issue, even have eczema. We have developed a very mature series of products for fixing that. Actually, even for now, most of our clients are using our shower water filtration services. We have shower filters for removing chlorine, to removing a lot of sediments, and then we have shower water softeners to reduce the hardness. So the overall user experience will be improved a lot, and there is no strong pungent smell, and also the hand and skin will be protected a lot. So it's not a real problem, Get something from companies like us, everything will be sorted out.
No, but how do you guys do that? What is it that makes your product work?
This is something. It's our best-selling product actually for shower filtration. As I introduced previously, 10 years ago, actually, for the communities here, you might don't care about bottled water for drinking or water for drinking because you always have a lot of choices. However, how about the water for shower, for clean hands? There are no many choices, and we're the company getting involved in this part actually earlier than a lot of companies. We're doing a lot of research over the materials.
David, they want to hear your technology.
Technology, okay. Here it is. So,
Trade secrets we want to know because we might have future innovators here. So what is it? What is the secret to make your filter work?
So there are different materials will make the water better. Activated carbon is very well known even for public because we know carbon will just reduce a lot of things. However, it's not perfect for shower because when the temperature is high, like you take warm or hot shower, the hot temperature will make the activated carbon not that effective. So we have to choose something which can work very well in hot water. So we choose, there's some vitamin C, there's some KDF, there's some like calcium sulfate, different materials, very technical.
Susie doesn't want to give us the trade secrets.
But I just want to let you know, this is something, during our design, we choose use them already, so we just ensure that they can be used during our daily life and are very effective. And besides, let me finish, please.
The stage is for you, my dear. We're happy to hear about this.
I don't want to make like advertisement, but I needed to use a bit more time to introduce because like when you're like staying in apartment, so your shower might have different shower fixtures. There's some rain shower, there's some hand shower, and also you might live in north part of China. So the China has so not like China has the hot water, and South China has this kind of soft water, and also chlorine will be different too. So based on the shower fixtures and where you are, we have a list of shower filters for getting such kind of expectations met. So we're removing chlorine, soften water, and remove a lot of people's most concerning things like heavy metals out. So the concerns will be addressed.
The concerns, and also from an operations standpoint, I mean, think about what that hard water does to the faucets, right? From a housekeeping perspective, and this is what I think about, right? Just how difficult it is, and then the customer experience. Obviously, we look at that when we take a shower, and we look at that to see if there's those hard water buildup. Because we have to think about it also from the guest perspective. I love that you're passionate about your product, right? But it's true, right? You have to be passionate to take this on and to innovate and to think. Any other questions?
So I just have one question about, as sustainability has become a heated topic, and there's also a problem of companies doing greenwashing. And I'm just wondering how do companies monitoring those kind of issue? And for example, like LeanPad, they collect data of waste of food. Are those data shared publicly to everyone? And there's organization or maybe LeanPads, they will monitor those waste and prevent greenwash from happening.
Thank you for your question, by the way. I have a very direct answer for your question. We do not share our clients' data with anybody. Otherwise,
sign NDAs.
Right, we have to. We only manage and analyze and consult. However, to answer your question from a different angle, how do we prevent a company from greenwashing itself? Well, typically greenwashing occurs when a company such as a large airlines like Delta or United buys carbon credits from a different company because that company is green. So we are not involved in the brokerage, the buying, the selling, or the lending of carbon credits. However, we do ensure that our clients are reducing their food waste because our solution not only is providing visibility on what waste was produced, it's also providing visibility on who wasted that waste, when, how much it was worth, and it provides, most of the time, picture evidence of that. So we have traceability and reliability and 就是真实性是很高的，是100%的，除非有人在作弊。So if somebody is inputting this data incorrectly, so they just threw away a lobster and they don't want to get in trouble with their boss, so they say it's vegetables. The cool thing is, we also have pictures to show the operations at the end of every day. The chef can go through their WeChat or through our online portal, etc., and they can see what's happening in their operations. So we use human beings to check themselves, we use technology to check human beings, and we use our teams to check both of these.
What is greenwashing? That's my first time to hear that phrase. What is that? You're the student, you let me know.
You got
basically like company doing stating that they are doing a lot of acts to make sure sustainability happen in their company, but they are not actually doing it.
Let's say I'm like a mining company, like a Rio Tinto,
okay.
and I mine X amount of tons of iron, and we know from this, because I'm a publicly traded company, that this amount of iron creates this amount of CO2e, or releases this amount of carbon into the environment. Thus and therefore, you can assume that I have this carbon footprint. Instead, I can go and buy from another company. Let's say I plant 100,000 trees, and in turn, that, in terms of its like carbon sequestration, offsets what I'm producing. And so that's washing,
Very
essentially, what I'm
interesting.
doing.
Very interesting. My first time to hear that. You had a question as well.
Yeah. I just have a very general question. Would you say that the coronavirus situation provokes the public's perspective on on sustainability, or did it slow down the development of sustainability all over the world?
Let me answer first. Well, it's actually quite interesting because on one side, yeah, sustainability, every hotel group wants to have a large format, but then also guests stay in the hotel. I feel like how can you sure those dispensers large format are clean, are properly sanitized? Yes, there is a concern on that. So that's why, but still, I don't really see any obstacles or slowing down of the progress. It's just like we need, as a supplier and a partner, we need to give all those, operations menu to train the room attendants how to clean, sanitize all those large format every day with the right proper chemicals. Also, on the other side, we can give a non-refillable product, like the large format. Nobody can open it. Once you finish that bottle, you dispose, just throw away. But that bottle is also recycled. So this is definitely made to get sure nobody use that, no cross-contamination. So still, it is the trend of sustainability, and every single hotel, especially China, really leading the whole, steps ahead of other countries.
Okay, for the water filtration part, I would say the COVID-19 actually makes us to move forward faster, because okay, because if you look at like some reports during the COVID-19 time, so the bottled water should not be used. For China, let me speak in Chinese. 受桶装水协会一般会下架桶装水 because if you are using bottled water on the dispensers and by using a cup of water, a cup of air will get inside. It's not just about PM 2.5 issue. It might be about bacteria and a virus. So at this special time, best not to use bottled water and start to make the change. Just use purifiers to replace like bottled water is a sustainable and safe water supply choice.
Yes, maybe more for Caroline. Amenities and the rest of the amenities that is not used by guests, right? I was always thinking, okay, what can we do and how can we use that? In Europe, I work for Kempinski Hotels, and in Europe we used to work with an association together called Clean the World. They were picking up the soap, the rest of the soap bars, and then taking them and washing them and then reproducing them. Does Hunter Amenity have any plan for the future in order to do something similar or to work with an association together?
Thank you, Monica. Well, this is actually, I wanted to say that because in Australia we have this Soap Aid program. So it's a committee and also a non-profit organization. So we partner with a third-party logistics company. We collected all the soaps from the hotel, and then we reproduce, make a bar soap, and without any packaging, called naked soap. Then we would deliver those soaps to the countries like India, Bangladesh. They need those soaps and it can save their life. Definitely, we will not suggest laundry or housekeeping to use the guests' leftover soap to do some other cleaning, because this is really the risk of cross-contamination. So we are trying to do here in China, but then also logistics, is so large, but this is definitely on our agenda. Yes.
Great. Do we have any other questions from this side of the room? Or on this side?
Don't be shy.
Oh, I see you there.
Hi, this question is targeting to the water station solution. Actually, I'm from IHG. I'm speaking on my phone. Actually, yesterday, our COO actually asked me, how do we eliminate bottled water? So, and then one of the things is that as from the supply chain point of view, that we always want to go back to the beginning of the stage that whenever they are designing hotel, they can actually have a filter built in. But according to the guest expectations, especially during this pandemic area, we do actually have a lot of concerns on whether this will trigger, the insecurity of our clients and guests, and then actually affect their guest experience. Second one is actually what we were talking about is a cost issue. So before, when we were doing the cost analysis, sorry because I'm a procurement, and then, and then not only the installation fee, and then also all the hardware that we need to use, but also the periodic filter that we need to purchase every half a year. And then usually it will cost probably like 500, and then this 500, why are all the hotels currently we were not able to implement? It's purely because that 500 RMB equal to, a full year of the bottled water cost per room. And this is something that we cannot overcome so far, which, the hotel builder, owners, and then from the operation perspective, they cannot overcome. And this one also triggers another question is that how do you ensure our customers are actually comfortable with and confident that hotel operation will change the filter according to the instruction? And then actually this actually relates to the confidence of food safety with all the China, public citizens that, we have so much issue with regarding to food safety. So with that respect, it's just very difficult, and I would like to hear your opinion on how you could help us to deliver that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. That filter comes back to the technician, the engineer, who's supposed to be checking the BMS, who doesn't. So how are we going to fix that, David?
Thank you. So about the three questions. One is about the cost. The other is about how to increase the confidence and let guests trust the water quality. The third thing is about how we do the water filtration, right, for hotels. So let me just reply to questions from in this line about cost. I would say if you are implementing the drinking water solution for your hotel, the average annual spending for the filters and also the bottled water will be reduced a lot. Per project, based on the amount of the bottled water and filters you are using, the cost will be reduced by 30 to 80%. So that is what has been happening to many projects already. And besides how to make the guests trust the water quality, that's something we did before. Actually, when I did the project for Escort, I feel what we did is kind of could be termed as an example. So we provided some water tester for them. The water tester could be used to measure the tap water quality, the bottled water quality, and the purified water quality. you can see it. Besides, we were trying to use a certain standards to measure the water and give a certain certificate nearby the purified water where the guests could get the drinking water. So with this type of thing, I guess guests could trust this water more. The third thing is about what Justin suggested. There are some reusable, well-designed reusable cups that could be placed beside, which can give them the quality image and also confidence to use that. So testing the water certificate for endorsement and also reusable bottles for them to drink the water from. The last thing is about the equipment and the solutions. For water filtration, it's definitely not just about the equipment. You can get from the market. It's about like companies like us. We look inside your hotel's needs, and based on the different locations, we can provide you the list of products matching the style, meeting the quantity, the water usage quantity, and then trying to find a feasible way to implement them. So we have an extensive line of water filters and equipment already. So this is not a problem at all.
I think it's the same issue we had in our previous conversation, our previous panel. It's a commitment from the hotel. It's not just buy something, put it there, and expect it to work, right? It's a commitment. It's all the different levels that need to happen to make it work.
Exactly. So after we get involved, we just do the research and promote the list of equipment needed on sites, and we implement them, and we suggest the time schedule to maintain them, and we do the service. So everything will be carried out by us. So we deliver the results as promised.
So, Jane, I want to ask you a quick question as well, because we're talking about this from like employee uniforms and linens. This is also very high cost to the hotel when we're talking about laundering. How do you give the hotels or your businesses, your partners, the confidence that your products are going to work, that what you're doing is going to be designed in their best interest? You know, it's not just like, I want this or this, and you're actually going to help them to develop that. How do you give them that confidence that it's going to be worth the cost of the commitment?
For one, in terms of the cost of products, we try to match dollar for dollar for the existing product. So if the table linen is $5, we match it to $5. This is our commitment by cutting our margins to make sure that we put sustainability where our mouth, we put our money where our mouth is, to make sure that it is affordable and it can be scaled. So it's a solution for everyone, not just, so sustainability is not just a luxury thing. I think this is one of the issues we have globally. In terms of testing the products, we run these tests on site with the guests. So in terms of, we send this linens batch to them to do sampling, to do burn tests, to do laoganma tests, to do lipstick tests, and to make sure that our batch of linens is suitable for their machines. So for example, for our cruise customers, it's really a hotel that's floating on water. It's not like they can send their linen out to a laundry machine or something else. The machines that they use might be 30 years old. So, and also the drying system, the laundry, and also you have to make sure that once it comes out of the dryer, it's ironed by the system at a speed of 400 linens per minute. It comes out, it is folded in the right size, it is plopped into the basket at the right speed and size. Everything has to be very precise, and so we're very thankful for our cruise customers. I feel like if we manage to develop a linen that is suitable to their military standards, I'm very confident that it can work for any other our regular hotels. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you, team, and the audience did fantastic. I got a more general question in terms of sustainability, because I do building sustainability a lot. I encounter with a lot of projects in terms of hotels, in terms of constructions, green buildings, etc. And also I face the challenge that the other guy mentioned about greenwashing, etc. But I think my general question would be, from an overall perspective, what percentage would you describe in terms of drivers for sustainability? Because we've witnessed a lot of drivers from the policymaking side, which perhaps by setting up a huge goal, forcing all enterprises to do, or we have the PR drive, we have the market, we have social influence drive, and also the end users drive, which I find the weakest, given the hotel context, because if, hypothetically speaking, if I am to travel to another city to choose a hotel I'm going to spend the night in, sustainability as a practitioner, even, sustainability is not my major priority influencer in terms of decision making. So I would personally experience the pain tearing me apart from my daily job, but I guess that's the dilemma a lot of people are experiencing. And what percentage would you describe in terms of the drivers market? I would say maybe 50% from the policy, 30% from the PR, and maybe only 5% of those from individuals. And if that's the case, what solution will we have to twist that around? Just out of curiosity.
There was one thing that we didn't mention in this entire spectrum, which is finance, the stock markets. Most of our hotels or operators are listed companies, and I'm not sure if anyone here has heard of the ESG ratings, or if I have any friends here from the finance field, please help me out. So what happens is right now, if you want to be listed in the stock market, be it NASDAQ or NYSE or in the Shanghai or Hong Kong Stock Exchange, companies are required to submit their ESG reports. It's part of like your annual report. And in order, ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. So companies are required to first, at this point at least, submit the information, be it you're a green building or you are not wasting your food, you have some CSR initiatives. At this point, it's still very rudimentary, but it has already been, at least it's required for you to submit this information. So you have to tabulate it. For companies that care about this, because they care about their stock price and their investment, then they will care to start these initiatives and run them as part of their long-term goals. Yeah. So I feel that the finance sector is definitely a huge push for our business, for our clients. Yeah.
This question is for Jen. As you mentioned about the cruise industry, this period of time, like we have COVID-19, in this period of time, how do you maintain a lane standard on the cruise industry? Like normally, cruise industry is one of the most impacted industry, hospitality industry. So do you have any different parameters where the linen has to be sanitized or linen has to be segregated and all? So how do you give an example for the cruise industry?
Well, unfortunately, the cruises are not moving at this point. Unfortunately, in China, the cruising has not started. Please remove this from the tape. But in terms of sanitization, honestly, linens go through an entirely rigorous sanitization process. Be it your bed sheets or your restaurant linen. First, when it is washed at very high heat. And then when it's dried, it's at least 60 to 70 degrees. And then it's go through the ultraviolet. And so by the time and then it's steamed. So by the time it gets to the consumer, it's actually definitely sanitized. I guess the contamination might come into process when, by the housekeeping staff, whoever is handling the linen, right? But I think that then goes to everything, be it your plates or your food, and which is why you have to wear a mask. I think in all the hotels, everyone has to wear masks and wear gloves as well at this point. Yeah.
Question for David. Just a question like, we have plenty of suppliers who provide water purification. So what are the parameters where I should choose your water purification? What are the, like, it's again the question comes to technical, but how would you tell me, like, okay, this is what we provide, this is our best quality what we provide. Plenty of suppliers are there which are providing the water filtration. I heard you not only provide water filtration, you provide air purification also, if I'm not wrong. So right now, COVID-19 is the situation. What are the parameters you would suggest me? Air purification and water purification. Why should I choose yours?
Okay, thank you. So, actually, James, I talked to some of the colleagues. Why go regarding hotel, what to use? Hopefully, that's something we could do, like after the session. Okay, regarding the, well, let me start from the second question regarding air filtration. So, we're not doing our own products. We're just like dealers for some top brands like Blue Air, like IQ. So for regular users, there are quite a lot of brands out there, like Xiaomi, like Philips, there are many brands out there.
Data is a big one as well, right? Data.
Yeah. So I would say if you care about the true quality, you can choose from the big brands. But if you don't care about brands, you can choose from the materials or core technologies. For the COVID-19 situation, just choosing some products based on HEPA technology, high efficiency particulate arrestor. If some product uses that, it's going to be trapping the particles, including the virus and bacteria. Now, what's more, just choose some products using activated carbon inside. The more carbon used inside, the better it will be working for removing VOCs. So these are the two standards I evaluate what type of air purifiers are good to use. So choose HEPA and activated carbon.
Thank you.
And regarding the water filtration part, because we're not like dealers for 3M, for some other branded filters. If we're speaking out to the public, I guess they can just choose from these big brands. However, speaking out the small community, I feel Greenwave type of products will be much more suitable. I talked with Jenny before the session why Greenwave is kind of better than Xiaomi. There's some products as a threshold product. You can use it and get the best needs required to fulfill. However, if you want to get all your needs fulfilled, choose Greenwave type of companies. We can talk about these later.
And I don't know if he's ever going to tell you about the technology he's using, because I want to come over to Justin because you've had a very big. Talking with you, and yesterday we were all, having a chat before this talk, and I think we all agree Justin's also very passionate and a visionary about what the impact is of LinkPath. If you had the big magic wand that you can wave and everything would be the way that you would envision it for a sustainable world, what would you do? What would you change?
I think if I had a very, very, very big magic wand, I would choose to increase the importance of environmental friendliness, of sustainability, to a level at which it's equally as important as financial data. I mean, businesses are frequently trying to de-risk themselves, and if I'm going to de-risk myself financially, I should also provide equal importance or bandwidth to de-risking my business from an environmental perspective. This all goes to say that it's awareness. Awareness is extremely important, and once a society becomes enough aware about something, a significant portion of them will take action, right? So once we were significantly aware about COVID, we began to take action, right? I can't speak about my home country, the United States, but once most people become enough aware about something and its importance, then they take action. So I would say sustainability needs to become as important, if not more important, than the financial aspects of a business, and awareness is extremely important for that to happen.
Well, I can't thank all of you enough for helping all of us here today to become a little bit more aware of what are the things that are affecting our industry and what are some of the solutions that are already available. I truly hope that this was as inspiring for all of you as it was for me to meet all of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So before we end for the day, we would just want to remind everyone we do have a tour of the JLL property for all of you to experience what a platinum building looks like, what an office looks like. And then please join us back here in the lobby. But first we're going to take a group photo outside. One with the mask on, one with the mask off. And before we do that, we just want to say thank you to all of our speakers. I don't know if Vicki is here still, possibly not. But if you don't mind, we'd just like to give you a small gift to show our appreciation for being with us today.
Thank you.